Insights into acdc's tour with Rainbow, honest accounts of how the Australian band left its mark, exceeded expectations and made history in rock. In the fall of 1976, acdc embarked on a tour across continental Europe as the opening act for Ritchie Blackmore's band, Rainbow, who were promoting their album Rising. Ronnie James Dio closely observed them. Were Angus and the crew starstruck? According to the late and great frontman of Rainbow, Ronnie James Dio, and keyboardist Tony Carey, the answer is no. In a 2009 interview with Classic Rock magazine, they shared their experience with acdc. Did you know much about acdc before they opened for Rainbow? Dio: just a bit, not much. I knew they were huge in Australia, but not much beyond that. However, we definitely heard about them after that particular tour. Carey: we knew they were popular in Australia and that they would help us sell tickets. Until then, I had never heard their music. So, how was the Rainbow tour with acdc? Dio: I'll be honest here, I think they outshone us on stage every single night. They were exciting, fresh, and really pumped up the crowd. In a way, maybe they made us look outdated with our long guitar pieces and all. Carey: it was a great lineup. No one was going to overshadow Rainbow on stage in '76, so I wasn't afraid of acdc. They did great, were great, and are very much like they are today. While we were Dungeons and Dragons level 8, something completely different. It was an entertaining show, I'm sure. Our band was on fire in '76 and so was acdc. How was acdc received? Dio: incredibly well. They had encores every night, and we were just amazed at how good they were. Angus was incredible. Even back then, he gave it his all on stage. No one worked, or works, harder. Every night, Cozy Powell, Rainbow's drummer, and I would stand there and watch and say, wow, how are we going to top this? We loved what they did. Carey: I saw a couple of acdc sets and loved them. They were local heroes for the crowds. Did you realize how big acdc would become eventually? Dio: I knew they had what it takes to succeed. It was clear they were going to be big. But as big as they became? No, not really. Carey: I'd love to say, of course, but the truth is, the key to that level of success is longevity. They found a perfect replacement in Brian Johnson when Bon passed away. I really hoped we would be huge, but our banjo player kept sabotaging himself by firing great musicians. Did members of Rainbow and acdc celebrate together at any point? We imagined Bon Scott and Rainbow's bassist, Jimmy Bain, a known party animal, might have, how shall we say, bonded. Dio: we didn't celebrate much together. acdc would leave the venue as soon as their performance ended to drive to the next city. But I remember the first time I met Angus Young. He walked into our dressing room looking for beer as they had run out in about 5 minutes. He didn't greet, just said, "Where's the beer?" I remember Jimmy Bain muttering something under his breath. The next thing I knew, Jimmy wanted to sit down and Malcolm had taken his chair. But that's how they were, young and bold. They had to learn to survive in Australia, and that means fights over everything. I had the pleasure of talking to Bon a few times, and he was completely friendly. At the end of the tour, he caught a cold and asked me for advice on how to handle the shows. I gave him some tips on how I dealt with the situation, and he was very grateful. Lovely man. Carey: well, where Jimmy Bain was in those days, I wasn't far behind. I guess you mean united by bourbon. Well, yes, there were certainly instances of that. I remember one time Bon had a little disagreement with his wife about his bedroom behavior and shared some funny stories. Does that count? What did Ritchie Blackmore, the guitarist of Rainbow, think about acdc? Dio: I think Ritchie thought the same as Cozy and me. Very impressed. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but like the two of us, I think he might have thought we made a mistake having them as Rainbow's openers because we just couldn't match them. Carey: to be honest, I don't know what Blackmore thought about anything, let alone his opening bands. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.